What up, gang? This is Ken Zerk, Ken Zilling, Ezekiel Milligan, the villain, Trilligan, and we are back on Persona 4 Arena. Last episode, we finished Naoto's chapter. This time, we're about to jump into Mitsuru Kirijo's chapter. Let's go. Late November in the year 2010, the darkness fell without warning. At the same time, the previously built examination room fell so silent that the man's ears hurt.
Hey, what happened?
He called toward the back of the room, but no answer came. After working for public safety for over a decade, he thought little could faze him anymore, but this was uncomfortably alien. It was no ordinary blackout. If it were, the faint light from machines running on low battery power such as cell phones would remain. But the silence disturbed him even more. He hadn't heard so much as a single cry. As he looked around, he saw a spot of darkness. Something was giving off an eerie glow, as if painted in incandescent pigments. The dark hour. Once his eyes began to adjust to the darkness, he was finally able to faintly make out the area around that light. The shining light was revealed as a small, strangely decorated box, one that the man had only just delivered to the forensics unit.
Forensics team! What the hell is...
He called out, still squinting at the shadow of a person he could see at the window before him. But as the shape resolved, he saw that it was not a person's shadow at all. He had no words to describe it. At first glance, it seemed to be a coffin. Indeed, that is what it was shaped like. But he had never seen a coffin standing upright, tall as an adult, shining like a dark crystal. Yet that was clearly what the crystalline mass was, squatting in the spot where the window clerk normally stood. And upon closer examination, it wasn't the only one. At desks in front of the evidence shelf, next to the reference computer, the objects towered everywhere, as if they had taken the place of humans. I'm so fucking excited to get into this. Y'all know P3 is my favorite persona, so I'm hella hype. And that's my boy right there. I recognize you. You look a little young though.
What are these?
A chill ran down the man's spine. No, that ain't my boy. You that other nigga. They're people, was the thought that instinctively came to mind. Was this the reason he couldn't hear anyone else's voice? Was it because everyone but him was?
What's going on?
Once the fear had set in, it wasn't easy to shake off. His familiar office was starting to look like a grotesque netherworld. He felt quite sure that he had to get out. Quickly, he turned and grabbed the knob to the door through which he had just entered, but...
What the...
It didn't budge. It wasn't that the door was locked, preventing the knob from turning the latch. The knob was completely frozen in place.
Is anyone here? Hey, let me out!
The man slammed his fist against the door, yelling in desperation. But the sensation he felt when his fist impacted the surface wasn't that of hitting a door. It felt completely at odds with what he saw, as if a picture of a door had been drawn onto a solid wall. It was then that the man noticed that another light, similar in color, to be emanating from the box could be seen on part of his hand as he swung it forward. It was a ring, and suddenly he remembered. When he brought in that small box, he found several bizarre ring-shaped objects within it. While handing it over to forensics, he suspected they might be rings. To check the theory, he put one on. And now that the ring was emitting the same eerie light as the box, though he still had no idea what was going on, and it was immediately apparent that it was directly related to the current situation. The man grabbed the ring with sweat-slicked fingers and tugged, ready to pull off his own finger if necessary. But just at
I wouldn't
that
take
moment,
that off right now.
What?
The man can't help but gasp. He looked around, but could sense no one inside the room with him. Where had the voice come
I'll
from?
be there to rescue you shortly. Calm yourself and wait there.
When the man calmed himself, he realized that it wasn't just a voice. The sensation was indescribable, but it was distinctly unlike hearing with one's
Who's
ears.
Oh, pardon me. This is Mitsuru Kirijo. We met earlier.
Kirijo. He did know a Kirijo. It was she who brought the strange small box. And it wasn't all he knew. The Kirijos were a wicked family who used their fortune and influence as a shield, a constant frustration to the police. Despite that, the man couldn't help but feel relief wash over him. Perhaps he might survive this after all.
Well, I appreciate the help. Just hurry!
After getting the muttered words out, he sank to the floor, the door at his back. Mitsuru Kirijo. If he recalled correctly, she was the eldest daughter of the Kirijo group's founding family. He noted that her voice had been far calmer than his, despite the situation they were both in. He sensed a measure of trustworthiness in her, and to think it had been merely an hour ago that he was asking himself why such a young girl had been chosen ahead of the Kirijo group at all. The digital clock on the corner of the desk quietly announced the arrival of 10 in the morning. Normally, most of the staff would be out and about by now, but the entire police department was in turmoil today. It was only to be expected with a key figure from the Kirijo group visiting on unusual business.
Kirijo, huh?
The Kirijo group was a major trading firm, synonymous with Japan. They had links to all areas of business. Not a day could go by in the city without hearing their name. The clock that had struck 10 bore the logo of Kirijo Electronics, and KJ was the carrier of the cell phone provided to every member of the force. A few days ago, this same Kirijo group had made a seemingly insane proposal. The document was hundreds of pages, but a brief summary would read, "We wish to collaborate with the police on an unofficial department for eliminating monsters."
Well, it does happen from time to time. Famous businessmen end up advocating cultish nonsense in pursuit of their ambitions.
Upon consideration, it was decided that the Kirijo group should be invited to give their pitch. Of course, there was no intention of spending tax money on the outlandish proposal. The police's interest in humoring the Kirijo group lay elsewhere. The Kirijo group had offered an incentive whereby, if the police agreed to the meeting, they would provide a detailed list of the Ergo Research Lab artifacts, as well as actual samples. It was this that drove the official's decision. For there had been dark rumors banded about the Kirijo group over the last 10 years. While still a family-run business, some said the old man Koetsu Kirijo had delved into paranormal research and was performing inhumane experiments. The police collected enough evidence to test the rumor and had prepared many times to force an investigation. But every time the investigation came to nothing due to the group's exerting hidden pressure, frustrating those working on the case to no end. The investigation's prime target was the infamous Ergo Research, the Kirijo Ergonomics Research Lab. Exposing the Kirijo group's dark side had been a dream of the public safety for 10 years now, and now Kirijo seemed willing to hand over Ergo Research tightly guarded secrets on a silver platter. No one knew the reason for this sudden about face, but neither did anyone think of turning them down. They agreed to the summit, not to hear out whatever proposal Kirijo was offering, but as a stepping stone towards unearthing their past crimes. Time passed and the agreed upon time in the afternoon came. The man was tasked with watching over and breaking the Kirijo groups. Though he would not speak with the guests, the police's plan afforded him major responsibility, one that gave him something like a leading role. It wasn't long before the Kirijo car arrived in the underground Porta-Cotre. The staff there to receive the guests only shrugged at the long black limousine that would have turned heads on the main roads. One of the youngest recruits looked towards the man and asked a question.
What's with that car?
But that was the least of the surprises in store. When the Kirijo group representative stepped out of the limousine, she was revealed to be a beautiful young woman no older than a university student. Not only that, but she had attendants dressed in what could only be described as maid uniforms. All of them were women roughly her age. The scene mesmerized the various dignitaries present to greet her.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I am Mitsuru Kirijo, representing the Kirijo group. It's nice to meet you.
Her brisk greeting radiated poise. From there, she shook hands with the assembled dignitaries and in a manner that showed she was no stranger to social gatherings.
She's the company rep? Really?
The young recruit who was sneaking looks out of the corner of his eye muttered in spite of
Their
himself.
proposal said the rep who's coming today would be the leader of this new unit, but I thought it was supposed to be some hardcore armed response team, and she's leading it? Well, I guess it's better than some meathead.
Shut up and hold your position.
Damn. But in truth, the man felt the same way. Certainly, this monster extermination unit would never be incorporated. But even if it were, he was sure this wisp of a girl could never do such work. She could lift you up with one arm and squeeze your fucking skull until it explodes. She could do that, by the way. Eventually, the dignitaries entered the agency along with Miss Kirijo. All of them wore lopsided smiles due to the young beauty's unexpected appearance, but that would do for now. The dignitaries were only there to receive her. Their true objective was loaded in a truck parked behind the limousine. The documents and artifacts of Ergo research.
All right, start bringing them in.
Roger, sir.
At the man's signal, his trained subordinates surrounded the Kirijo truck. They formed a line, smoothly passing boxes from man to man into the building. The articles were of various size, but even a few that came in oversized containers for aerial transport. The Kirijo group had warned them not to handle these things carelessly until explanations were forthcoming. But in truth, the department was already prepared to begin a forensic investigation of the objects and even send them to the lab.
Are you sure it's okay for us to open these? The instructions said not to.
It won't be a real investigation if we let them hamstring our procedures. Besides, I can't think of anything they could send us that we couldn't handle.
Labrys.
Unless there's real monsters inside these things.
Who's gonna tell him? Who's gonna tell him? Who's gonna tell him? The articles were brought in silence. The operation only lasted about 15 minutes. The man himself received the last item, about the size of a jury box, and checked the truck to make sure nothing went overlooked before closing it up. That done, he turned and walked quickly towards the forensics room. Try though he might to maintain his composure, he couldn't contain the excitement he felt. For 10 years, the darkness of the Kirijo group had been a frustrating legend like mist between the department's fingers. Their chance to investigate and expose them was here at last. If even the slightest evidence matched the DNA of those who had gone missing, or the victims of the unsolved cases, victory would be theirs. The man tried to tamp down his exhilaration and took another look at the small box he held. There was no upper lid on the box. A pedestal-like protrusion at its center held a number of small circular trinkets. Their usage was completely unknown. What kind of research produced these? Just as the man was about to hand the box to the window clerk, he saw a wedding ring on the clerk's finger and came to a realization.
Are these rings?
We're not sure yet.
The man put on some protective latex gloves and tried one of the objects on. After looking at it from every angle, its color and shape seemed to be nothing but ordinary. If it was meant to be jewelry, it wasn't very attractive. The man couldn't picture scientists in lab coats slaving away in a lab to create rings like this. Are they, is it an evoker? You know, of course you have the gun as the evoker before, but is this like a special kind of evoker? Because apparently it does let you stay in the dark hour. Which should have been destroyed, by the way. Why the fuck is it still here? The moment that unlikely possibility came to mind, the man felt somewhat embarrassed by his ignorance of fashion and accessories. But as soon as he reached for the small box to put the ring back inside, darkness suddenly fell.
Please step away from the door.
The voice echoing in the man's mind brought him back to reality. He took a few steps away from the door and as directed and stood ready. Step away from the door. The more he thought about it, the stranger the order seemed. How did she know he was so close to the door when she wasn't even in the room? Suddenly, a chill filled the area. In mere seconds, the entire door was coated in white.
Where'd this ice come from?
It had frosted over. The man couldn't believe his eyes, but the evidence was there in front of him. He could then hear a slight knocking sound, followed by a crack forming in the fencing. The door buckled under its own weight and crumbled with a sound that was like building blocks being pushed over. Standing just past it was the Kirijo woman. She walked over to the man with exquisite nonchalance. At her side was one of the maids she
Are
brought.
you all right?
Yeah.
We did give you fair warning, but it seems to have gone unheeded.
The man looked towards the ring shining on his finger.
And this happened because we touched that box? What is this thing?
That ring gives its bearer an unstable form of pseudo-potential and allows anyone to experience the Dark Hour.
The Dark Hour?
The box itself seems to be a failed recreation of the Dark Hour. The effect radius is small, and it malfunctions when improperly handled.
The Dark Hour. He remembered that phrase coming up in documents the Kirijo group had sent. If he recalled correctly, it was defined as a hidden time unable to be experienced by normal people, a time where everything stood still. According to the documents, it seems to have occurred every night at midnight for about 10 years, until spring 2010, as if it was forcing its way into normal time. Before now it seemed like pure fantasy. But could this silent darkness be the very same thing?
So you're saying those stories in that document, that occult-sounding stuff was actually for real?
At that moment, a voice suddenly echoed from beyond the hallway past the broken door.
Who's there?
The man reflexively called out an alarm, realizing that the fear had not yet died down. What emerged from the darkness was the young recruit who had greeted the guests earlier, and had been helping with bringing in the artifacts. He was staggering as if severely drunk.
Chief! Hey, are you alright?
The man started to rush to his side, but the Kirijo woman suddenly stopped him. She stood between the two as if protecting the man.
What? He's my...
Before it could finish, a surprising change overtook the recruit. That nigga turned into a shadow. The recruit fell to the ground with an agonized scream. A black tar-like substance began flowing from his every orifice. The ooze spread unnaturally across the ground and cohered into a glob. It rose up like a beast raising its head, and what looked like claws began to form. Its appearance showed clear signs that it possessed some malevolent will. The man thought again about the Kirijo group's initial proposal. We wish to collaborate with the police on an unofficial department for eliminating monsters. Without a doubt, this is what they were referring to. And with the name that came up again and again was...
This is a shadow.
That it is. It's a monster that dwells in every person's heart. They usually can't manifest themselves this way, but it's quite common to see it happen during the Dark Hour.
So the research to make this happen artificially. That's what Kirijo has been experimenting with.
That did seem to be the extent of it. At the start.
At the start, the man couldn't prevent himself from shuddering, imagining the implications of her statement. With the second roar, the half-liquefied beast suddenly took the form of some fell beast. But where the face should have been was nothing but a mask, giving it the bizarre appearance of two creatures stitched together. The young woman, for her part, seemed not in the least perturbed.
Kikuno, my things, please.
The maid stooped to reach for something. The man wasn't sure where she had been carrying it, but she placed a sword in her master's hands. The blade was specially shaped, similar in design to a fencing saber.
You're going to fight it?
Stay back. This will all be over soon.
At that moment, as if understanding their conversation, the shadow squared itself and leapt towards the young woman. Its speed matched its beastly appearance. In the darkness of the room, the man found it difficult simply keeping his eye on it. The young woman did not move. Her sword remained lowered in the face of the shadow's advance. Of course, thought the man. An amateur like her could never react in time. However...
Artemisia!
At a word from the young woman, some unseen force slammed the shadow against the wall. The man momentarily doubted his own eyes, for it hadn't been the woman who repelled the monster, but a silhouette that suddenly appeared behind her. It looked as though the being enveloped in sublime light, contrasting the shadow's dark glow, was a woman wearing a majestic dress. The silhouette held up a hand towards the grounded shadow. Once again, the man felt freezing air fill the room, and with that, the shadow stopped moving. Frost crystallized all over it, turning it into an ice sculpture within seconds. Only then did the young woman swing the sword in her hand. A A white gleam arced through the air. Upon impact, the frozen enemy shattered, like it had been crystallized sugar rather than ice. The victory was so one-sided that the man hesitated to call it a battle.
Are you all right?
The young woman turned towards the man. The sound of her boots hitting the floor gave him a jarring realization that she hadn't moved a single step during the fray. Seeing that he was at a loss for words, she gave him a gentle smile. It was all too much for the man. He actually felt relieved to be protected by this small woman. One thing was obvious. She had been through countless battles, much like the one he'd just witnessed.
Your fallen employee's life is in no danger, but he'll be very weak. Make sure he gets to a hospital. Should I make the arrangements?
No, I should at least handle that. It is a public security matter.
With a nod, the young woman approached a small box and manipulated it in a way he couldn't quite catch. The eerie yellow-green light began to fade. Moments later, the silence and darkness faded too. The world had been restored. The man felt his body become suddenly lighter, causing him to breathe a sigh of relief. He hadn't realized until the pressure was gone that the air had been suffocating, as if he had been underwater. There was a stir of movement in the room. The forensics team and assistants looked at the man and young woman perplexed. The man took a quick look around. Fragments of a shattered door were strewn about. A young public security worker was lying unconscious nearby. And their Kirijo guest, who had entered without anyone noticing, held in her hand a drawn sword.
I'd be shocked too if I were them.
It occurred to him that if normal people couldn't sense the dark hour, the sudden change in circumstance may have seemed to them like some magic
Excuse
trick.
me, but this place is off limits to all unauthorized personnel. Hey, what's going on here?
The forensic staff looked at the man helplessly.
It's all right. We had a little emergency.
Oh.
That aside, halt all examination of the relics they brought in. We'll wait for further instructions from the Kirijo group.
Huh? But you said...
If there are any boxes that are closed, don't force them open. Not if you don't want to come face to face with monsters.
Leaving the frowning forensics team behind them, the man quickly went into the hallway with the Kirijo
I have to thank
woman.
you for your help. And about the conference, I'll join in as well. It's been arranged so nothing you say would get through to the higher-ups.
If the young woman was surprised at what amounted to a confession of betrayal, she didn't show
Are
it.
you saying you will reconsider your plans?
I can't overlook anything as serious as this. I wouldn't be doing my job as public security if I did. But make no mistake, the things I saw today are proof of the sins the Kirijo group has committed. They can't be punished under the law, but now that they're known, atonement will be made in some shape or form.
Indeed. I never intended anything less.
You really put one over on us this time.
Hmm?
Oh, there's no need to be coy. What happened today was no accident, was it? We'd never have believed the reports unless we saw it in person. That's why such a dangerous box had no lid. Am I wrong?
There was no lid. That's not possible. That box was classified as risk level 3. It should have been securely fastened.
The young woman fell silent, then gasped and gave the maid walking beside her a look.
Kikuno.
The maid continued without the slightest sign of remorse and left her master behind. Both the man and young woman sighed
Us
at
guys in
once.
public security have a reputation for being tough. But it seems like you guys are no slouches yourselves.
The summit that was meant to be a perfunctory refusal took an unexpected turn. Promises were made to continue the talks. 6 months passed. After many opportunities to show actual samples to the dignitaries were set up, the proposed special unit was established, in mostly the form Kirijo requested. The security department, the Shadow Response Unit. It was the inauguration of the special unit that would, in time, be nicknamed the Shadow Operatives. Hell yeah! My girl Mitsuru, Kirijo. Indeed, the Shadow Operatives. I'm quite fond of the name. Not that I normally pay heed to these things, but in this case, I admit to being pleased. It started as sarcasm on the part of the higher-ranked personnel from the police. It could be taken as to mean those who deal with shadows, but the real meaning is those who operate in the shadows. Not only is the unit unofficial, but we have the difficult to credit job of exterminating those monsters. Hold on, can I get rid of this? Okay, let's see. Let me see if I can recognize any of these people in here. Obviously, that's Mitsuru. With the hat, that could be Junpei. Okay. All the way to the left. The woman all the way to the left, that could be... No, Fuka has long hair. So that might not be her. I'm pretty sure Fuka has long hair, so that might not be her. But it could be Fuka. The one directly to the left of Mitsuru could be Ken. And the one directly to the right of Fuka, next to Junpei, could be Yukari. Hold on, am I cooking? I think it'd be weird to have a CG like this and not have, you know, the crew in there. Mostly, I suspect it was a dig at a group that disturbed the expected peaceful years before the oldest personnel's retirement. But Shadow Operative could also mean one who does unrewarded, albeit crucial work for society. It is a name truly befitting of the organization's goals. We're approaching the first anniversary of the Shadow Operative's establishment. Though we're still at the level of basic investigation and laying groundwork, it seems a full-scale case has arisen.
Fighting is not our first option, but I'd be more reassured with you there.
Hold on. Dance while I put you in a trance. Let's party. That party. Make sure you don't hurt nobody. I say, hey, feeling the fire with a burning desire. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
We have a general idea of where it was taken, the Inaba area, where there were reports of suspected shadow activity last year.
Good as it is to hear from an old reliable friend, I limit the call to a quick exchange of information.
I'll send you the precise location later. Sorry to call when you've just returned from a trip, but I'm relying on your assistance.
I close my cell and turn towards my
He's
colleague.
only just returned and he's going directly to the location from the airport. Akihiko never changes.
The man I was on the phone with just now is Akihiko Sanada. He's one of our non-permanent staff. Akihiko is an excellent persona user, but beyond that he's a skilled boxer. He's a friend of mine from high school who fought the shadows alongside me. I admire his strict determination to never neglect his training, but the extreme lengths he goes to could be rather inconvenient. After entering college, he accepted my invitation to be one of the founding shadow operatives, but it was his actions afterward that went above and beyond. Sure, I'll join, but if I'm going to use my strength professionally, I want to get my skills to a level I'm happy with first. Thus began his training expedition. He's not only wandering the country, but he's traveling the entire world. This nigga thinks he's Ryu. I can't decide whether to be dumbfounded or impressed by his dedication to training. All of this to say he only just returned to Japan to take part of this operation. I give a wry smile and lean back in my chair. Seeing me relax, the girl watching nearby smiles. This is Aigis, known for her blonde hair and piercing blue eyes. She's a sweet girl on the outside, but she has what it takes to be an important member of our squad.
Will we be able to find Labris? My sister?
When I look over at Aigis, her eyes are downcast. Her eyes are cast downward with a worried expression.
Will we be able to save her? Isn't that what you really want to ask?
She must have known once I called Akihiko in as backup. There's a possibility that we'll have to fight Labris. Knowing that, it's not a great leap to imagine that in worst case, she may have to be destroyed. And alas, it's true. If all else fails and our safety is at risk, with no other way to stop her, that option is on the table. Still...
Don't worry. As I mentioned to Akihiko, fighting Labris is not our priority. The reason I formed this shadow operative team is to save lives. We will find her, whatever it takes, and bring her back. We can do this.
Yes. I'm sorry to be so pessimistic.
Those feelings you have for Labris, you should tell her when you see her.
I will.
Oh, I love Aigis. The monitor is showing certain data under multiple redundant encryptions. Kirijo Ergonomic Research Lab, confidential matters. There is, in fact, a reason I'm reviewing these materials that are normally securely concealed. Because 2 days ago on May 1st, I was unexpectedly dragged into a serious incident. The passenger plane I was taking in Kagoshima was hijacked. There hasn't been a domestic hijacking for 10 years. The top branch of the police, afraid to make any mistakes, sent in the shadow operatives. The case itself was resolved quickly and all the culprits arrested. None of the passengers were harmed either. The hijackers' true motive wasn't terrorism or political demands. As one would expect, I was surprised to find they were really after my cargo. It was a sealed box from the ergonomics research lab. We were transporting it to Yakushima on that flight. No one thought that the risky hijacking could have been in pursuit of just cargo, and as a result, one of the objects was stolen. The arrested suspects are all in police custody, but none of them have any memory of carrying out the crime. Someone was pulling their strings and probably using uncommon methods. Considering that Puppet Master was targeting shadow-related cargo, I doubt they'll be easy to deal with. As for what was stolen, I just mentioned its name a moment ago. The 5th generation anti-shadow suppression weapon Labris is an older model from 2 generations ago. Since shadow-related ergo research documents were lost in an accident, we know little about Labris. She's an android, most likely a female version just like Aegis. But instead of a weapons loadout, she seems to be fitted with some kind of experimental equipment. That's all we know. Still, thanks to our collaborators' quick wit, the escaping vehicle was traced with an N system. It wasn't easy, but we managed to pinpoint its location. It was headed for the city of Inaba, where there may have been shadow activity last year. One of the preparations to depart are complete. I'll head there myself. My mind wanders a bit. Though I was unaware of them, the shadow of the sins committed in the Kirijo name is still so painful. 10 years on that I sometimes want to avert my eyes. But now's not the time to be bound by the past. Now's the time to act. I suddenly noticed that Aegis has been staring at me worriedly. I give her a smile and stand up decisively. Make sure you don't hurt nobody! I say, hey, hey, hey! Feeling the fire with a burning desire! Yeah! Man, I'm bumping this shit as if I don't listen to the P3 OST every other fucking day. We're pulling up to Yaso Inaba, the central town of Inaba. Though it's the central town, the main street seems nearly deserted, and there's virtually no activity to be seen through the car windows. It was confirmed that the vehicle transporting Labris was abandoned here, so our first move would be to confirm the situation, or so I thought. I attempt to ignore the rude stares of people trying to get a look inside the car, focusing instead on the scent of my tea. People keep crowding around whenever we park. We've had to move it a number of times already. We didn't get a moment's peace until the car had reached a junkyard on the outskirts of town. As I try to keep from sighing, Aige speaks up from her seat in front of me.
Mitsuru-san, our activities are supposed to be undercover, correct?
Yes.
For undercover missions, it will be necessary to keep all personnel and vehicles from being noticed.
Right.
Mitsuru-san, may I say something that I've been meaning to say for a while now?
No.
Cause she already knew what she was about to say. She already knew.
Understood.
She already knew. I was going to say, if that's the case, why are you driving around in this fuck-ass limousine? I guess his poker face is a perfect blank. Though I understand what she's getting at, I've actually wanted to say something along those lines to the people around me for a while. Still, it would be galling to hear it from someone else
All I
right
told
now.
them was to give us a car with enough space.
Our contact has arrived.
The man approaching us is someone whose cooperation I specifically requested. His name is Detective Kurosawa. Before I can welcome him, Aige speaks
Oh
up.
my. This was not our designated meeting area, yet he has discovered us.
You want to know how I did it?
Lately, it feels that whenever Aige wants to voice her opinion to me, she intentionally puts on the robot act. They mentioned this at the lab, that if Aige still speaks in that stiff, formal manner, either she's getting too human and is developing habits, or she's doing it on purpose. Honestly.
I appreciate your cooperation, Detective Kurosawa.
Aige is getting fucking... What's the word called? I'm trying to think. What's the word called when you, being fucking... Damn, I don't know the word. She being goofy, bro. Oh my goodness. She thinks she can get away with shit.
Long time no see, miss. And Aegis, was it?
Indeed. It has been a while.
Detective Kurosawa was an officer at the police box near the school we attended 3 years ago. He was shunned for cooperating with us and got busted back down to officer. But now that the shadow operatives are officially recognized, he's in their good graces again. A man who can be trusted beyond the confines of his station to solve a case, even going as far as to bend the rules. He's a rare breed. Detective Kurosawa's expression is softened while he makes small talk with Aegis, which makes me realize it's maybe the first time he's seen Aegis in her combat form.
I shouldn't make you stand while we talk. Please, get in.
Ah, sorry. I haven't seen you in a while, so I had a lot to say.
He understands that we're trying to go incognito. He must understand. Though it's kind of him not to point out that our vehicle and attire are completely unsuited to that goal as he enters the limousine. He sits and does not even wait until the door is closed before getting to the point.
I found out quite a bit regarding the case you had me look into. First, I reviewed the report on the incidents from last year. One of the suspects mentioned the word persona.
So what went on here last year?
It's probably related, but I wasn't done there. Parts of this guy's testimony were even more outlandish. If you can take what's in the record at face value, it seems persona users can enter TVs within the Inaba region.
Enter TVs? What does that mean?
Just what it sounds like. You physically stick your body into the screen and go inside. He claimed there was another world in the TV, and dropping people inside it was the method behind last year's murders.
This all sounds rather absurd. I'm surprised it was included in the police report.
I got in touch with the detective in charge at the time and said the same thing. Apparently the report was filed by a young partner of his at the time. He'd entertained the wildest testimonies like this one.
He sounds like quite the oddball.
Adachi!
If this was what really went on, the police would have had no chance cracking it. But that Detective Dojima is one shrewd guy. Even with all the supernatural hocus-pocus surrounding the case, he caught the culprit.
I had asked him to collect information about the serial murders that occurred in Inaba last year. The shadow operatives aren't public knowledge, so I thought the local police would be more willing to speak with him, but the results surpassed my expectations. Though it is slightly frustrating to already run up against something I'm powerless to achieve myself.
That's all I have for you right now. I should be going. I doubt either of us has time to reminisce over the old days. It's funny though. I thought the fighting was over, but you guys surprise me every time I see you.
Thank you very much, Officer Kurosawa. Why don't we at least see you off?
Oh, that's all right. I've got my own car. I doubt my department would appreciate your tastes. If I ever showed up for work in something like this, I'd be the talk of the force until the day I retired.
Detective Kurosawa jokes with us before exiting the limousine, waving casually back at us. I had nothing to say as I watched him. Something to say to that as I watched him leave, rotating his shoulders to work out some kinks. Aegis though felt the need to comment.
Mitsuru-san, this could be bad. Our sense of social aptitude is in question.
Can't deny that.
What should we do now?
Yes.
Aegis has become a fucking joker, bro. Oh my goodness.
First, we'll need to test the claim that persona users can enter TVs.
We are at a junkyard after all, and I can see a number of consumer electronics that have been discarded illegally. Aegis looks around and points at a certain pile as she gets out of the car.
There is a discarded TV over there. If the environment does not matter, we can use it to test the phenomenon.
Wait, Aegis.
Don't worry. I'm just going to touch it.
That's not what I was worried about. Aegis isn't wearing anything like a disguise and... No, I'm overthinking this. We've already attracted enough attention. Even if we leave now without doing anything, our pictures could still end up on the internet. Let them gossip about the strange people in funny clothes. It'll become some urban legend. My mind made up. I step outside wearing my special equipment. Once Aegis sees that I followed her, she gives a small nod and stretches her hand out toward the screen.
Amazing!
Her hand, it's inside the TV screen, but the screen itself seems undamaged. Aegis' hand swallowed up to her wrists as if she put it into a bucket of water.
Interesting. It's exactly as the police report said. What's it like inside? Do you feel anything?
Not particularly. No. Wait a moment. It's the same as mine. It's hard to say definitively since this is my first encounter with it, but I believe this reading is from a personality module.
Does that mean our retrieval target is inside the TV?
Huh. Sounds like fun.
My boy! That voice came from above. It sounds very familiar. But all I see in the direction from where it came is a man in an outlandish red cape. I hesitate for a moment. Could it be...
Is that Akihiko?
Why this nigga posted up like a superhero? The man leaps from the stacked towers of the TV like an acrobat.
You didn't show up at the rendezvous point, so I went looking and found you here. This whole TV thing is pretty interesting.
In spite of myself, I bury my face in my palm.
Akihiko, what on earth are you wearing? Just what were you doing overseas?
Didn't I tell you that I was on a training expedition?
Don't tell me you came here from the airport like that. Does the concept of keeping a low profile mean nothing to you?
Mitsuru-san, I believe we have lost the right to complain about that.
Angus is on her ass, bro. That's it. I'm never mentioning the subject of our appearance again.
Anyway, we can go inside from that TV, right? What are we waiting for?
Still the same Akihiko. We don't know the situation inside yet, and we'll need a secure means of getting out.
So what? If we want to get this Labrys back, someone has to go inside, right?
Well, that's...
Our target hijacked a plane to throw her into a TV in this town. If we sit on our hands, it's possible we'll be put in serious danger.
Akihiko's right. That's exactly why we've been trying to act as quickly as possible since this
We're
case
different
began.
from how we used to be. We made the choice to fight shadows as professionals. That's why I traveled around the world and trained harder than ever. And now that something's actually come up, you're hesitating? We agreed to do this. I'm ready to stake my life on the mission.
Recklessly unafraid to state his honest opinion, classic Akihiko. He must understand that is his role. Certainly, there are times when I need such opinions. And it's been a while since he went abroad. I think I can understand his current mindset.
all right. Wait right here. I need to go make a phone call first.
Okay, but make it quick.
He doesn't have to tell me twice. I take out my phone and bring up the contact list. A world inside a TV. I don't know what it might be like in there, but I do know someone that could help us. I was originally going to ask for their help after Labrys was secure, but perhaps the time has come. Now, I've taken all possible precautions. The rest is a test of our resolve. Who did she call? I can only imagine she might have called, like, I don't know.
The other members will wait here in the car.
Yeah. If we all barge in and something happens, we'll be devastated.
Oh, damn.
Now that you mention it, at least one of us should be
She
staying
must have
behind
called-
as well.
I
What?
am not staying.
Damn. She must have called, like, the rest of C's.
Us three will be plenty. We'll end this in a flash. No problem.
The same as always. Although, we have no idea what might be waiting for us on the other side. Don't get careless.
Right.
This situation, it brings back memories.
Ready!
Look at that. That's a TV.
Why enter the TV? What's going on?
Where am I? Is this inside the TV?
I remember being enveloped in a white light, but what came afterwards is unclear. Is this the world inside the TV? Oddly enough, the site before me seems to be the main gate of the school. The name engraved on the entrance plate is...
Yasagami High School. I do recall that name from our map of Inaba. An existing high school has been completely recreated inside the TV?
Then I came to a realization. I've encountered something much like this before. It doesn't appear to be much different from reality as far as appearances, but it has that same distinctive sticky atmosphere. The Labyrinth Tartarus, our battleground 3 years ago. It bears a lot of similarity to this place.
Wait, where are the others? Akihiko! Aigis!
Being separated now won't do anything to further our mission. Perhaps I can use my communication power to get in touch with... Huh?
I can't reach them through my persona either. This place is highly unusual.
It's still barely functioning, but the noise here is severe. I'll need to understand this world a little better and find a quiet place to concentrate. As I check my surroundings again for enemies, I hear the sound of footsteps. I tense, getting myself ready. But when I turn around, a uniformed girl stops, looking at me in bewilderment. Yukiko. I didn't expect to meet someone else here, let alone a seemingly ordinary schoolgirl. Could her age and outfit belie a connection to the theft of Labyrinth? But once the girl's surprise faded, she still seems confused by my appearance. It seems that even here in another dimension, people are startled by my attire. At least her reaction allayed my suspicions. People reveal something of themselves when they're caught off guard. Anyone in the act of committing a crime couldn't fake being perplexed so naturally.
Did I surprise you? I suppose my outfit is somewhat unusual.
Oh, no.
Why are you here?
Well,
A loud cheer suddenly swells, cutting off our conversation. Judging by the sound, I'd guess there's a crowd present here. I look around the area in confusion.
Where is that coming from?
Students appear one after another, clearly intrigued to see us here.
What's going on?
Before I can react, an image appears on a monitor buried beneath the bizarre decorations.
Hello! Hello! This is General Teddy, your benevolent dictator!
And I
Or
resent
like
and
Dick
the
Taster!
commentator. It's time for the next round in the P1 Grand Prix! Are you ready to fight?
P1 Grand Prix? Fight?
Suddenly, on the one in the ridiculous costumes queue, smoke pours out around us. A spotlight shines from somewhere directly upon me. Instinctively raise my arms to shield my eyes from the harsh light. It's like I'm being displayed for an audience.
And who do we have for Yuki-chan's opponent this time? Ooh, it's a mysterious, beautiful lady! How unexpected!
What?
Teddy? What's wrong?
Do you know that bear?
The monitor showing the costume General Teddy suddenly fuzzes over with static. The static gets worse and worse, until an eerily expressionless bear costume, one that looks as though it forgot how to make facial expressions, appears on screen. The voice is the same before, but his tone is harsh and mechanical now.
Case 04, unintended intruder. Entering elimination process.
What is that supposed to mean? Ugh. What's going on?
As soon as the abnormality registers, I feel a bizarre noise, like something scratching against my whole body. Was that some kind of an attack? It didn't seem to have any effect on me, but the girl standing beside me underwent quite a change.
Who do you think you are, showing up alone like this?
What?
It's no use trying to talk your way out of it. There's nothing to discuss. You don't even try to understand anyone anyway. If you want to wall yourself off from everyone, I'll be happy to end your lonely life.
Damn! The girl's face distorts with hatred as she spits her words at me. It's a far cry from her earlier demeanor. It's as if she's a completely different person. And that's not all. Understandably, she seemed not to know me before, but now she speaks as if she does. What is this? Could it be the effect of the noise I
So
sensed?
smug for long. Come, Konohana Sakuya.
A persona?
The girl spreads the fan in her hand, and with a flash of light, a persona manifests. How careless of me. I should have accounted for this possibility as soon as I saw her here in this
We
world.
won't be settling this peacefully, I see. In which case...
I ready my invoker
to
and
me,
concentrate.
Artemisia.
Power rises from within me and the sensation in my limbs tells me my persona has emerged. But my hand holding the evoker is still at my side. My persona, did it just appear without the use of my invoker to trigger it? Did I summon it only by thinking? Theoretically, one doesn't need an invoker to summon one's persona. I didn't have one the day my persona first manifested, and I've done without one several other times as well. But never have I summoned it so easily and without any special concentration. It's as if my consciousness is reaching far beyond the boundaries of my body. By way of analogy, it feels like being able to control the wind with my fingertips. Could it be because this world is special? The girl's voice brings me back to the situation at hand. Which reminds me, the girl doesn't seem to use any special implements to summon either.
Persona user. Fine. I still won't lose.
Sorry, but I won't be defeated either.
I get to play as Mitsuru. I don't think I've played as Mitsuru yet. She is fucking hot! What does her say? They don't want me to read it, okay.
Finally! Fight!
Imperious Queen of Execution.
Time to go. I want to hold Marin Persona! It seems the change of pace is in order. Go! I have pursuit! Dance, Sakio! I'm coming for one escape!
Kill her!
On God! Will this hurt? No escape! I'm coming for one escape! Stay away! The ice is still standing!
Get your ass whooped.
In the end, the victor was no surprise!
Yes, sir! Belt to ass, nigga. I'll put that fucking belt to ass. Bitch, I'm finna fucking crash. Once the battle ends, the monitor nearby switches on.
An irregularity has occurred. Multiple intruders detected. Emergency. Intruders are persona users. Due to difficulties in elimination, they will be acknowledged as valid targets.
He obviously refers to myself and the others. Does that mean he's going to adjust his tactics for dealing with us due to how much of a threat we are? The way he said that seems like a bad
Valid
omen.
targets.
I understand that we're considered to be intruders, but what did he mean by that? It seems we're part of this tournament now. But what was the enemy's original plan? The monitor screen fuzzes again. Once more, it shows the costume bear as he originally appeared.
Jeez, you need to let me know if you want to get in on the fun. But this is a unique situation, and you're one hot mama, so I'll make an exception. Just keep putting on a good show in your next bout, too.
Who are you? Why don't you take off that strange costume and show your face?
Hey now, I don't think a lady walking around in a cat suit like yours can talk to me about my bear suit. Enough with the questions. Move on.
Again, yet another person hung up on my outfit. It's unlike me to let the enemy's words get under my skin. The monitor switches off with those
Is
cheeky
that costume
words.
thing the one who stole Labrys? If so, then what's the purpose of this bizarre tournament? Fine. I'll get a read on your location.
I quickly link my communicator and persona. Some personas are more suited for operational support than direct combat. In my case though, that power is secondary. We normally have a persona user who specializes in that role, but with some specialized equipment I can get by. I focus my consciousness and send it drifting throughout the surrounding area. The enemy must think he's keeping an eye on us, but he'll soon learn enough that he's not the only one with a bird's eye view of the situation. Before the layout of this place becomes clear, an unexpected change occurs around me. The moment I use my power, noise runs through the students that have been spectating. In an instant, they turn into something like silhouettes that barely have any human shapes. It seems their true colors have been exposed. Are they not human?
What? Were they shadows? If they were, I don't sense any hostility from them. Were they just set dressing that thing in the costume prepared?
The cheering crowd would lead one to believe that there is a large number of people inside the TV, but that doesn't seem to be the case, which leaves it a mystery. It may be best to consider it a blessing.
In any case, it appears that apart from this girl here, none of those students were real.
The girl who had collapsed on the floor is coming around. I release my persona and rush over to help her up. I wasn't fighting to my fullest, so she shouldn't be suffering from any real wounds. There are many mysteries surrounding this girl. She seems to be more than just an associate of the one in the bear costume. The moment the girl sees me, she jumps back like a startled animal. Her speech is flustered, her face a bright, blushing red. There are tears in her eyes.
How come you knew about that?
About what?
That was private. I never even told anyone at the inn about that. I can't believe someone I've never even met before knew.
Knew what? The girl covers her reddened face in shame. I try to think back to what I said to her. Did I point out anything that would cause such a reaction? One detail jumps out at me. When the girl's manner of speech shifted before our battle, it wasn't just her personality that abruptly changed. Though we had just met, she talked as if she knew more than she should about my
That
past.
reminds me. That noise I sensed earlier is gone.
Yet the girl before me now no longer bears any of the senseless animosity from
It
before.
seems to have been some kind of interference from the enemy. Come to think of it, that bear was egging us on. The interference must have been to ensure two total strangers would fight. General Teddy, was it? He looked comical enough, but he certainly put an elaborate scheme in motion.
No! How could Teddy...
She seems to have finally calmed down and continues muttering with a perplexed expression.
You know the one in costume, I take it?
Oh, I know him very well. He's usually not like this at all.
I take the girl's hand and again help her to
I'm
her feet.
Mitsuru Kirijo. I've come here in search of a unique object. Why don't we start over? If you don't mind, I'd like to hear a little about yourself.
Yes. Oh, my name's Yukiko Amagi. I'm sorry for losing my composure just now.
So, Amagi, why did you come to this world?
Where to start? So many strange things happened over the last year.
At first glance, she looks like an ordinary student, so why is she here inside the TV? Amagi briefly summarized her recent past to me in an even tone of voice. According to her, this world was prominent in a serial murder case last year. She and her friends awakened to their personas while investigating the case and eventually solved it. This world is formed by people's thoughts, and at the case's conclusion it returned to its original state. None of this contradicts what I learned from Detective Kurosawa.
A realm inside a TV, formed by people's thoughts. It sounds absurd, but that would explain the incongruity I sensed when I used my persona.
We thought the case had been solved, but lately there's been another strange program on the air. My friends and I couldn't ignore that, so we came back here.
Your friends? Are there others here besides yourself?
Yes, I was with 3 other people, but we got separated when we entered. The one in costume and the girl who called herself Rosette are friends of ours too. But they're acting so strangely.
So this is not the way they generally behave then?
I can tell from Amagi's reactions that normally she trusts those two implicitly. Considering what the enemy did to her earlier, could they be under its control as well? Either way, it sheds no light on the theft of Labris. How are they related? Or is this incident only a coincidence?
There's one more thing I'm curious about. Have you ever heard the name Labris?
Labris? No, I don't think I've ever heard of that before. What is it?
It's the thing I'm searching for. What makes it problematic is that I know nothing of its appearance. Honestly, I'm not sure it has anything to do with this disturbance, though I can't write it off completely as irrelevant.
Though it appears that there's no connection, whoever went so far as to hijack a plane and steal Labris brought her all the way here. No matter how I look at it, that means something.
Anyway, thank you for your cooperation. I understand the situation better now. We should stay together going forward.
Whoa! Think again, ladies!
General Teddy suddenly appears on the screen to interrupt our conversation.
Only the winner of each bout can go on. That's rule number 1 in the Grand Prix.
How exactly can that rule be enforced? As if to answer my unspoken question, Amagi makes an odd gesture.
There's nothing here, but I can feel something. A wall, maybe? Wait, but Mitsuru-san could...
Amagi looks at me expectantly. I take a tentative step and walk through the place where she claims there's a wall.
Like I said, you're stuck there until the tournament's over. Only winners get to go. Come on, miss. You won. So it's time to barrel forward to the next stage.
I must leave the girl alone in this strange world then. Though I'm uneasy about doing so. Amagi seems to read my thoughts and smiles.
Thank you, but I'll be all right. I fought shadows for an entire year too. I can protect myself.
I see. In that case, I'll press on and do my best to rescue your friends.
If you see them, please tell them I'm all right and they shouldn't worry about me. You be careful too, Mitsuru-san.
Amagi smiles resolutely. She's a very
All
strong
right,
girl.
I'll pass that along.
I nod, acknowledging her wishes, and turn my back to walk away.
Not only do they tamper with our minds, they prevent us from leaving until the tournament is settled. It may not necessarily ruin friendships, but there's no way forward than to fight one another. What a loathsome trick. It seems the mastermind is intent on us fighting each other.
I grit my teeth in anger. Amagi's clear eyes remain in my heart. This operation is no longer just to retrieve Labrys. I make a silent vow as I go. Everyone who's been dragged into this must be rescued.
Another dead end.
My bad, I got hungry. So I just put a hot dog in the oven. And I'm probably gonna leave again once I feel like it's cooked to eat it. As I step into the school, I realize that these invisible walls are everywhere. Blocking off routes has seemed open to the naked eye. Why is the thief who stole Labrys gathering Persona users in this world? Not having a clear idea of their motivations is compounding my anxiety. Aigis and Akihiko may have been dragged into this Grand Prix as well. If so, we need to compare notes. If all goes well, we may be able to figure out the location of the mastermind behind this that I failed to grasp earlier. After quickly confirming that there are no shadows nearby, I link my communicator with my persona. I focus my consciousness and send it drifting throughout the surrounding area.
So lonely.
What was that?
The presence is faint, and I can't tell where it is, yet I can definitely hear a voice. It seems I can sense it because of my secondary support capabilities, but when I focus harder, it doesn't seem that they're trying to communicate with me. It's more like the words and the intense emotions behind them are seeping out of the room itself, perhaps even from all around me. Eventually, the voice becomes clear.
I'm scared. I'm alone. It hurts. Why?
I don't recognize the voice. Perhaps one of Amagi's friends.
I didn't ask to be born a machine. How come no one understands? What's the difference between normal people's hearts and mine?
A machine? Is that Labrys?
I stand up and try calling to her.
Labrys! Are you nearby? Answer me!
But there's no answer. It seems that it's not because the voice's owner is nearby that I can hear her. It's subtly different from hearing voices with one's own ears, it's true. I focus my senses once again, but I still can't tell exactly where it's coming from. Not yet having a thorough command of the layout here makes it harder to pinpoint. Eventually the voice fades, only silence
Going by
remains.
what she said, that had to have been Labrys. Sounds as if her heart has developed further than we thought.
Even Aigis, the latest model, required a lot of time to experience and develop the heart she has. So then why does Labrys, who's been sealed from her development up to now, have such an advanced heart?
I didn't ask to be born a machine. It pains me to hear that.
The anti-shadow suppression weapons. Both Aigis and Labrys were created as insurance for dangerous shadow experiments, in case the subject should go berserk. The only thing that can stand up to against a shadow was a persona, and being able to control one is an absolute necessity when dealing with shadows. Thus, they were given their hearts in order to induce their ability to use personas. But a weapon that has a heart contradicts itself. It was natural for Aigis to face that contradiction, and it caused her serious anguish in the past.
We can't allow victims like her to be tormented by sins of the past, whether they're human or not.
Newly resolved, I press on. I continue through the school, still unable to contact Aigus or Akihiko. The invisible wall seems to be leading me towards a gym. Compared to the one back in Gekkokan High, this one is rather modest, but the stacked chairs to unusual heights and the monitors everywhere gives it an eerie air. Ah, the monitor switching on again. But this time it's not showing General Teddy. How strange, this appears to be a commercial for a fighting event. A succession of young men and women are introduced as participants. One of them I recognize as Amagi.
They're wearing the same uniforms as Amagi. I assume these are the friends she spoke of.
All of them are introduced with horrible epithets, but the Amagi girl I met in person was a completely different, sophisticated girl. I suppose the enemy made up all the taglines. Just as Amagi's introduction ends, the video suddenly turns off and General Teddy's face appears on screen.
I had to completely rejigger the bracket to accommodate 3 new contestants. Jeez.
Renigger the bracket? I'ma cut that out.
3 new contestants. Myself, Akihiko, and Aigus?
On the other paw, a tournament's more exciting with more people in it. But getting back on track, allow me to introduce your next opponent.
When I enter, someone who has already been there turns around. His face, it was on the video a moment ago.
There's people besides us here?
You're...
Holy crap, she's smoking hot. The thing she's wearing doesn't hurt either.
You were in that video just now. What was it they called you? Captain Ressentiment?
How come you remember that stupid title and not my real name? Figures I meet a knockout like this and she already knows about that. God, I wish I was dead.
Apparently, the epitaph from the video hit a sore spot with the people featured. The nickname left more of an impression than his real name, so it just slipped out. At that moment, General Teddy appears again on one of the larger monitors inside the gym.
How do you like your opponent?
Why are you making us fight? What benefit do you derive from this nonsense?
So many questions. I just want you all to suffer.
Damn.
Isn't that exciting? Isn't that fun?
That's what this is about? No. If Labrys is involved, there's more to it, isn't there?
Enough jibba jabba. Hurry and start the fight. Look at your opponent. He's ready, see?
As the general smirks, a wave of discomfort washes over me. It's the same as that time with the Amagi. As I glare at the monitor, thinking that the interface is at work here, I hear unexpectedly bitter words.
Yeah, Teddy's right. I mean, you're the one who barged in here.
Bitch!
Man, who'd come to such a dangerous place without hesitating? You really are an ice queen.
Damn.
I bet you don't have many friends, huh?
It's happening again. The moment the noise kicks in, not only does my opponent's personality change, they begin speaking of things they shouldn't know about. It's exactly like what happened with Amagi.
You talk as if you know me.
Stop acting so calm and changing the subject. You seem like you don't know much about this world. So how do you plan to get out? Don't tell me you rushed in here with no escape plan. Oh man, seriously? You're nuts. People like you who obsess over responsibility and put all the burden on yourselves, you annoy the hell out of me.
It doesn't matter how others perceive me.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Isn't that because you don't trust anyone?
We clearly can't have a normal conversation with the enemy's interference. But even knowing that, I catch myself trying to argue the point. The heavy responsibility I suffer is mine alone. If I share it with someone else, that means that suffering will also be shared. That's why I try to be self-sufficient. The more I care about someone, the less I'm willing to rely on them. But isn't that better than not believing in them? But isn't that no better than not believing in them? I've been caught in that trap before. Maybe I still haven't truly escaped it. But how could he guess at my private distress, one that I barely confided in to others
I was
before?
supposedly an unexpected intruder. What's going on?
What are you mumbling about? Well, let me ease your mind. I'll end everything for you. Let's do this, Jiraiya!
One thing I've noticed, I will have to see with the other characters. But with them, they jump straight to, when they're fighting, right? of course, what the opponent is saying is kind of what they're saying in their minds, right? The things that they don't want to face. But everyone else, I don't remember it being like this, right? Because with Mitsuru so far, Yukiko and Yosuke, they both start the fight by basically saying, I'm going to kill you. I don't think anyone else was like that. I don't think anyone else had an opponent start the fight by saying, I'm going to kill you. Literally just saying, I'm gonna kill you. You know? Magi said, like, I'll make you blah, blah, blah. You won't have to deal with this ever again because I'm gonna kill you. He basically just said, I'm gonna kill you. And it's like, that's kind of a neat detail. If this was intentional, that's kind of a neat detail considering the fact that Persona 3, the scariest thing that everyone in Persona 3 had to face was death. So it's kind of cool that in the end, despite all the, despite having their insecurities thrown at them, the thing that launches the battle is the threat of death. I think that's pretty cool, if that was intentional.
Go, Yosuke-senpai! Beat up that shady lady!
Fuck you!
Let the fight begin!
I can see there'll be no talking sense with him like this. There's nothing for it then.
Artemisia! Artemisia! Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Captain Resentiment.
Final. Fight!
Yosuke is a fucking threat in this game.
You're slow! I'm coming for you! I won't hold back! Artemisia! Go! You're slow!
My fucking controller just died! No, no, no. Nigga, I've been charging it all night! What the fuck is your problem? This damn controller's gonna piss me the hell off! You were charging all fucking night! What is your issue?
I'll show you my resolve!
Damn, that fucked me up! Oh my goodness, that almost fucked me up! That nigga Yosuke cheated, bro. He killed my controller, man. That's some bullshit. He cheating ass.
Aw, you're so useless, Yosuke-senpai. Unfortunately, the party crasher wins.
The girl on the PA system is rather casual with her insults. Soon after, General Teddy appears on the monitor.
You're so strong, miss. I can barely believe how gorgeous and powerful you are.
It seems they're not provoking us only to have us fight one another. And their method, is it more like an illusion they're casting over us, rather than some sort of mind control?
Still trying to figure everything out? Switch your brain off and enjoy the Grand Prix already.
Sorry, but I'm not some savage who enjoys the suffering of others. And don't call me Miss. My name is Mitsuru Kirijo.
Kirijo?
You've toyed with us, and I don't take that lightly. I'll make you pay for what you've done. You better be prepared for that.
Kirijo!
The moment he hears my voice, the face on the bear costume distorts into a mask of hate.
You're the one who should be prepared! I'll never let you stop me!
The broadcast ends there after he flings those
I
words
mentioned
at
my
me.
name on purpose. He reacted as strongly to the name Kirijo as I thought he would.
I still don't know anything for certain, but I'm increasingly sure that General Teddy is related to the circumstances surrounding Labrys.
At first, I thought I'd stumbled into an irrelevant side incident, but evidently not. We were meant to come here.
Just then, the young man behind me slowly gets to his feet.
Ow!
Ah, you're awake.
It seems now that the battle is settled, the interference causing us both to seem odd vanished. Hanamura cringes away frightened. I can't help but shrug.
My. Amagi reacted the same way. Were the things that the illusory me said that harsh?
Oh, you bet. Wait, what? Illusory? And did you just say Amagi? You meant Yukiko?
Yes, before I came here. I was forced to fight her, quite against my will.
I explained the situation to him. I also add that she shared information with me on last year's case. That should help prove that I did encounter Amagi. Just on the off chance, I asked Hanamura about Labrys, but he seems not to know the name. Once we finish speaking, he stands up and places his hand on the air as if touching something.
Only the winner can move on, huh? I'm the only one who can feel this invisible wall thing, so I guess it's true.
I'm glad you understand. I was worried you'd doubt me since I'm a complete stranger.
Well, you didn't seem like someone who'd try and trick me. I mean, what's the point? I've lost now, so I can't go anywhere.
Indeed. You're very pragmatic.
The young man waves away my compliment.
After what I went through last year, I just got used to coming smack up against insane stuff in this world. And Yukiko, my friend you met, she believed in you. So I don't mind trusting you too.
I see.
I can't help myself from smiling. Their bond seems to be real. I do somewhat envy the way they trust each other without a doubt. That could have never happened unless they had overcome the same trials together.
I'd like your opinion on something. What do you think is the objective of this tournament? That General Teddy said it was all in fun, but I doubt it's anything so simple.
I've been wondering the same thing, but I don't know. But you know, it might not just be Teddy behind it. I met this weird girl earlier.
A weird girl?
She was about my age, and she said she was the student council president. It was like she had no idea that she was inside the TV world. That doesn't seem very likely, does it?
No, I doubt one could be unaware of such things. It's possible that she didn't come here of her own will.
This may be a school now, but it doesn't always look like this. When normal people who don't have personas come in here, the world changes to reflect what they're thinking of. It happened every time a victim was dumped into a TV last year. Maybe this time she's the victim. Even if she means well, she still could have a lot to do with the tournament.
Girl, huh?
Judging from the state of affairs, I'm beginning to think that the girl in question is Labrys. Since Hanamura doesn't know the details of my mission, it wouldn't occur to him that what I'm searching for is a humanoid weapon with
What
a
did
heart.
this girl look like? Did anything about her stand out?
Huh? No, not really. She wore the same uniform as the rest of us.
A uniform?
Considering how Aigis looks, it's possible that Labrys' appearance is quite close to human. But what does it mean that she's completely able to pass as a human? Even Aigis has to wear clothes that cover her entire body in order for her to walk around town. Yet Labrys wears the same uniform as them. I chalk it up to another unsolved mystery, I suppose. But after talking with Hanamura, it does feel like I'm starting to understand the bigger picture
I
here.
see. Thank you. I'm getting a clearer picture of what's going on. I'm sorry, but I can't stay and chat. I should be leaving now.
Oh, wait a sec. Can I ask you a favor? Can you look after my other friends too? It sucks, but I can't get to them from here. That Teddy's really not a bad guy either. Sure, he eats my ice cream without asking and stuff, but he's not the type of guy who'd get off on watching people hurt each other. There's gotta be some other explanation.
Don't worry. I was already thinking along similar lines. What we saw was an illusion. It may be that they're faced with the same situation. I'll save everyone who's been dragged into this, including your friends, and this student council president.
Thanks. Just hurry before someone else dies in here.
Hanamura's expression, which had previously been bright, albeit desperate, darkens noticeably. From all I've heard, last year's Shadow incident resolved around serial murders. It may be that he had lost someone as well. The fight dealt desperately but lacked the power to make a difference, being forcibly parted from loved ones. I understand that pain all too well.
I must sound pretty lame, losing the fight and then making a lot of demands.
Not so. Your concern for your friends in a situation like this. C'est magnifique.
What?
I sensed it when speaking to Amagi too, but you all seem to have very strong wills. I promise to do what I can to help.
The emotions he seems to view as weakness are actually a strength. I'm sure that with a little more experience, he'll come to realize that too. He'll see how difficult it is to hold on to that will and how valuable it is to have friends he can share it with. Since I'm the one who'll be moving forward, I'm responsible for the duties he entrusted to me. As if sensing my determination, Hanamura's expression turns serious and he nods. Alright. I'm finna go check the food. Bitch, she deserves the fucking award! All them niggas are ass! If you don't want her to be athlete of the damn year, then stop being ass! Learn how to ball, bitch! Out! 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 What's up, niggas? I ate a glick. After parting with Hanamura, I once again proceeded through the school. The invisible walls continue to bar my path. Undoubtedly, the enemy is leading me exactly where he wants me.
Is there no end to this?
The rules of the P1 Grand Prix are powerfully enforced. I tried to see if I could destroy one of these walls, but it doesn't seem as though I can. Maybe if I use all my strength. But even if I do, I'll be locked into a fight if I happen to run into anyone. Either way, it didn't seem worth the trouble. I strayed from the suggested route on purpose and opened one of the classroom doors. I sense no enemies. I have no enemies. And it doesn't look likely that I'll run into my next opponent here either. It should be safe. Once again, I link my communicator with my persona. This time, unlike before, my senses cleanly and smoothly spread outward. I sense two familiar signals.
And Aigis. They both seem to be okay.
First, I focus my senses to contact Aigis, who's closer by.
Can you hear me, Aigis?
Mitsuru-san, I am relieved to finally hear from you. Is Akihiko-san with you?
No, we were separated, but I've confirmed his safety. I'm sure he won't be defeated that easily.
Aigis laughs upon hearing my words.
Let's exchange information while we can.
I give her a simple outline of the current situation. I mention the students that were drawn here. My suspicions that this P1 Grand Prix mastermind is almost certainly related to Labrys. And what I've heard of a girl who I'm assuming to be Labrys.
I saw that girl a moment ago, though I lost sight of her when the invisible walls blocked my path.
I've been told she looks more human than you. Is that possible?
Not only that, she was almost indistinguishable from a normal person. I couldn't believe it either. Yet I definitely sensed a personality module. I don't believe there's any mistake that she is Labrys.
I see.
There's no doubt that General Teddy has strong ties to Labrys and the Kirijo group. But this girl who we believe to be Labrys is apparently walking around unconstrained. If he can set up this many walls, it should be easy for him to capture her
Don't worry
too.
about meeting up for now. Under the present conditions, we'd only end up fighting amongst ourselves.
Understood.
I don't know how Labrys ties into this situation yet, but be careful. Hello? I lost her.
Aigis' voice trails off as my connection to her dies out again. I wonder if the enemy noticed our conversation and took preventative measures. Though the voice I'm hearing now definitely isn't General Teddy's.
Some other way! If there was, then...
That's the same voice from before. Labrys, is that you?
It's happening again. The voice reaches me through my persona ability, but I have the strangest sensation about it. I get the impression that the voice is seeping out of this place
Why
itself.
are you laughing? What about this is funny?
Who is she addressing?
I don't want to fight him anymore!
That reminds me. Hanamura said that the environments here are formed by the thoughts of those who enter this world. Could these be Labrys' innermost thoughts? Is that why everything about this place radiates her feelings?
What do you think we are?
For a moment, I experienced not just a voice, but a powerful wave of emotions. They bombard me through my persona senses. A strong sadness, confusion, despair. I can't help but fall to my knees, though nothing is assaulting me directly. How can I describe this weight? One possible explanation crosses my mind.
She's not addressing anyone. These are her memories. I see. So that's what's going on.
I think back to what General Teddy said, that making people suffer is fun. I dismiss it as a barbaric desire not worth thinking too deeply about. But in truth, what kind of horrors would someone have to go through to emerge with such a stunted perspective?
I'm finally beginning to see the relationship between this tournament and Labrys.
In any case, I must proceed on to learn anything. I redouble my resolve and begin walking again. The monitor suddenly turns on, showing a smirking General Teddy.
What are you getting so sentimental for? The Grand Prix's not over yet!
Then you intend to continue this meaningless farce.
I'll decide what's meaningless or not! Bring out the next challenger!
As soon as the General shouts, smoke gushes out, obstructing my view. It seems he isn't willing to listen to reason at all, not that I expected otherwise. Who will I be forced to fight this time? I strain my eyes to see through the smoke. It looks like it's...
You!
I remember that face. Naoto Shirogane. He was present as a police observer when Labrys was being transported to Yakushima. It was thanks to his quick thinking that we discovered Labrys, and Labrys had been taken to Inaba. If our trip hadn't been disrupted by the hijacking, he probably would have been with us in Yakushima. But why is he here?
This is a problem. I didn't think we'd run into each other so soon. Is this another illusion? No. I can see that it isn't. Why are you here?
I'll answer that question later. It would be best to say as little as possible for now.
With that, the young man lifts a finger to his lips in a gesture to remain silent. Directly afterwards, that staticky sensation runs through my body. It's then that I understood what he meant. Once again, this noise will prevent us from understanding each other properly. He's probably also noticed the effect at work. Nothing we're saying right now will be called conversing. If we both understand that, neither of us need to take what the other says personally. That's why he called for temporary silence. It's an amazing assessment, given the brief time in which he had to make it. Before long, as expected, the young man before me undergoes a complete attitude reversal.
Seriously, such impatience handling the grunt work yourself like this. Isn't micromanaging like this the style of an incompetent leader? One who can't see the bigger picture?
This isn't how he truly feels. I
The
say
silent
nothing.
treatment, huh? That's fine. I understand perfectly. You don't believe in people. Not a single one. You have friends and allies, but believing in them is a different thing. I suspect you'll never break down that wall. Shall I say it for you? You're actually scared to. The notion of growing attached to something and losing it scares you so much that you'll share nothing truly important to you.
I mean, shit, it happened to her once already.
Even if you want to believe in your friends, you can't.
That's not true.
After the words slip from my mouth, I realize that the argument is futile.
Of course it is. Why not simply admit it? In truth, you have your hands full just expiating your family's sins. You don't need the added burden of others placing their lives in your hands. Isn't that how you really feel?
No.
The young man smirks as if ridiculing my inability to stop myself from responding to his allegations, despite knowing the futility of doing so. But the smirk only helps me regain my composure. The real Shirogane would never make that face. This is only an illusion.
There's no use continuing this. Not until I eliminate this irritating mirage.
I wanted to know what Naoto said about her body. That's what I wanted to know. The 2000 IQ Killjoy Detective.
Final. Fight!
Damn, Naoto, chill the fuck out! Oh, I can't summon my persona.
Okay, as I thought,
Okay.
I'll fight to the bitter end!
Hold on, what? Let's see it.
An elegant finish.
I'm sorry.
That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. That was alright. I turn towards the monitor on the assumption that General Teddy will appear to mock us. But for some reason this time he doesn't. I'm not sure why, but it at least shows us time to calmly it at least allows us time to calmly talk things over. I look towards the young man
Am
once
I getting
again.
through to you now?
Yes. The same goes for me, I presume. It seems we were spellbound until the fight began, as we both suspected. They disrupted our communications to drive a wedge between us and make us fight. Though it's a mystery to me as to where it draws such personal slights for the illusions before us.
I agree.
He seems to bear no animosity and is willing to discuss things. But to be honest, I'm not sure where we stand. Why is he here? I can think of several possible explanations, but if he secretly followed us, his canyonness may prove dangerous. He gives a sudden wry smile as if sensing my reluctance and trying to assuage
There's
me.
no need to be cagey. I don't intend to dodge whatever questions you have. You were probably wondering 3 things when you saw me here. First, how did I enter this world? Second, what am I doing in Inaba? And third, if I came here looking for you, what are my true intentions?
No wonder you've made a name for yourself as a detective. You're correct on all counts.
The first answer is easy. You know now that I can use a persona, allowing me access to the TV world. As for the second, there's no great mystery why I would come to Inaba. I live here.
You wouldn't happen to be acquainted with Amagi and Hanamura.
You've met my senpai?
Your friends. I gather that you're comrades who fought alongside each other during the serial murder case last year. I assume you entered the TV together for the same reason they did, and found yourself dragged into this mess as well.
Whatever doubts I may have about them, it seems they're here because we dragged them into this. I'm not very comfortable with that.
So, I must apologize to you. No doubt you already know, but the object we seek has been brought to this world. It's most likely the cause of this disturbance. Whoever learned of this world's existence must have thought it would be useful in whatever they're scheming.
You apologizing to me?
Shirogane shrugs with a wry
Are you
smile.
so sure you can trust me? You have no guarantee that I'm telling the truth. And there's still the answer to your third question to consider. I haven't yet told you my true motives.
Fair enough. But if you're friends with Amagi and Hanamura, I feel I can trust you. Their bonds with their friends are real.
Perhaps I lied about that too.
But then why would you bring it up? No, you're no villain. That's what my intuition tells me.
You aren't at all the person I thought you'd be.
I'll take that as a compliment.
His smile suggests that it was meant as one. It makes him look his age or even younger. I can't help but smile as well. He's not exactly the hardened detective I'd imagine him to be
The
either.
Teddy who appeared on that monitor is not our friend. He's an imposter.
You have proof of this?
I found the real Teddy. Our enemy can fog both our eyes and ears. It's possible they can make themselves look like someone else.
I see.
But I still don't know why they chose to take on Teddy's appearance.
Upon hearing this, I sigh and close
It
my
might
eyes.
be to make you all suffer. If they led you to believe your friend betrayed you, it would make this all the more painful.
There's some truth to that, but it seems too simple a motive to warrant this elaborate of a disturbance.
He's wrong. If the motive is somehow connected to Labrys's memories, what had been incomprehensible becomes completely understandable. My conclusion must have shown through my face, and Shirogane trails off in understanding. At that moment came something like a touch. It's a sensation I hadn't felt since entering this world, but I know this feeling. It's the effect of being brushed by a persona's informational support powers.
This feeling. Rise-san! Rise-san, can you hear me?
So you ended up here too!
That voice echoes, and that voice that echoes is much like the voice I heard over the PA system, but it seems quite different. The announcements must have been part of the culprit's tricks. This Rise's voice immediately turns quavering.
So glad. Ever since this weird fake Teddy kidnapped me, I've been all alone. The others are fighting each other too.
It's all right. Just calm down and tell me where you are.
I think it's the announcement room. It's kind of off, though. There are these invisible walls around and I can't get out. The fake Teddy was watching me until a moment ago, so I couldn't use my persona.
She seems to have been under the General's close watch, limiting her chances to use her persona until now. As soon as the General stepped out for a moment, she seized the opportunity to contact Shirogane.
You're in the announcement room now, yes? I'm headed straight there, so stay put.
Huh? Who's that? Why can I hear your voice but not sense you?
She sounds extremely confused. I had temporarily forgotten that my equipment prevents me from being detected by persona abilities to an extent. I prepared it after facing an enemy with similar powers once before, Chidori. It works by making my presence difficult to detect unless they know me well or recognize my signature. Shirogane senses her confusion as well and introduces me to her. His introduction is accurate yet concise. I can see he's a first-rate detective.
Mitsuru Kirijo. Wait, Kirijo? Are you that Kirijo?
Yes, that's correct.
The CEO?
Not quite. I am the founding family's...
You hired me for a commercial before. Oh, good. Thank you very much for your patronage.
A commercial?
Oh, yes. I'm Rise Kuchikawa. I'm a classmate of the others you met, but I'm also kind of a starlet, and, it's hard to explain.
Why is Rise geeking the fuck out? Why does she sound like a fan?
Rise-san, that can wait. There's no knowing when our adversary will return.
Oh, all right.
Kujikawa said that she was captured, but why would they treat her differently?
I suspect it was to block communication. If we could speak freely as we just did, their whole scheme would collapse. Ah, so that's why Teddy and Rise-san were the hosts.
What do you mean?
The real Teddy has a similar power. That's why those two were taken separately. Not only that, but by acting as the two who had disappeared, the enemy thought it could portray them as traitors. Though it appears that Teddy managed to escape on his own somehow.
How come I'm the only one fake Teddy is watching over personally? Sheesh.
You have the most powerful investigative persona. They must have had to take greater pains with you.
I think we're keeping this going too long. We've exchanged what we know already, so I'm gonna shut down the comms link. Be careful, you guys.
I face Shirogane once again.
We are responsible for this case. Rescuing the ones who've been dragged into it is part of our mission. Besides, she's another of your friends, isn't she? All the more reason for me to go save her.
He makes a small gesture as if searching for the right words. After taking some time to make up his mind, he looks me in the eye once more.
You're quite prepared for this. It would be unfair of me not to tell you everything. Please hear me out. The reason I came here was to...
You're a real straight arrow.
I cut him off intentionally.
You're very proud to be a detective, no? I can see it in your eyes. You would never sell out your beloved Justice.
She is the Justice Arcana. I think. I don't remember.
If you've done nothing to be ashamed of, that makes us even. I haven't been entirely forthright with you either.
There's no Justice Arcana, is there? There's a Judgment. That was Nanako. Naoto was the Fortune Arcana.
Kirijo-san. It seems I still have much to learn.
Despite what I said, I can make an educated guess as to his motives. He's a persona user. That means the police selected their observer as someone with the potential. If his only task was to watch over the transfer, there'd be no need to send a persona user, leading me to believe he's been asked to secretly spy on me or my organization. But we have nothing to hide anymore. There are many things that shouldn't be made public, but I'm sure his judgment is sound.
Well then, I will once again entrust my friend's safety and the resolution of this case to you, in honor of the bond we are forming, Mitsuru Kirijo.
I promise that I will not let you down.
I love these interactions so much, man. I smile back at him and move on without looking back. I know that there's someone up ahead. To whom I owe recompense. There's no hesitation in my steps. I reach the 3rd floor. After turning a corner and going on for a while, it finally comes into view. The announcement room. This is where Kujikawa is supposed to be.
Are you Kirijo-san?
Kirijo?
As I open the door, the 2 students greet me. One of them is the voice I heard through my persona, Kujikawa, I presume. The other is a girl I didn't see on the video.
Hang tight, Miss President. We'll be okay now that help's arrived. Kirijo-san, this girl got dragged into this mess too. We have to help her before that general comes back.
So you're Kujikawa. Sorry, but I'll need you to step back.
Huh?
I turned to face Miss
We
President.
meet at last. Astounding. You really do look human. But you're not, are you, Labrys?
The girl jumps at hearing this. Kujikawa still looks unsure, but I can't drag her into this. I place myself between her and Labrys.
Huh? What do you mean she's not human? Isn't she a victim who got dropped inside the TV?
Labrys being a victim is one way to see it. But if what I've learned thus far is accurate, then the one who set up this Grand Prix is most likely...
Labrys, our records show that you were loaded with special equipment. Undoubtedly a function that affects thoughts and scrambles recognition. That's why we saw and heard illusions whenever we fought. It would also explain General Teddy's appearance, and those who met you believing you to be human.
Special equipment? Labrys? What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? Labrys' protests of ignorance sound as if she's in denial about something she already knows. It's tragic hearing the desperation in her voice.
I'm sure the reason why you captured 2 people with analytical personas wasn't just to keep them from interfering with your designs. I came to a realization when I noticed I was the only one who sensed that noise. An analytical persona's searches clash with your ability. They dispel illusions, so you needed to confine them. You feared that if they caught you off guard and used their persona's ability, this would happen.
With that, I summoned my persona, Artemisia. Just as expected, the noise suddenly runs across Labrys' body. It's exactly the sensation I felt before each round of the tournament. Artemisia cancels out the force, scrambling our senses, and the illusion begins to wear off. Little by little, the facade fades away, and her true appearance emerges.
No! What's going on?
This can't be.
What was your motive, Labrys? Was it revenge in the end? I can understand why you'd hold a grudge. I caught glimpses of it on my way here. But your hatred should be centered on the Kirijo group. Why drag innocent students into your vendetta?
Kirijo group? No. I don't want to remember. Never again.
Miss President, Kirijo-san! She seems to be in a lot of pain. I don't know exactly what's going on here, but you can't push her any further.
At that moment, Labrys grabs the equipment on her back that I had mistaken for wings. And it suddenly separates and transforms into a giant battle axe that's larger than she is. This bitch thinks she's Mattis!
Miss President?
Get back! Hurry!
Labrys approaches one step at a time, her axe at the ready. Her steps seem uncertain, but she's moving with battle clearly in mind.
The injunction against harming humans has been removed? I see. No wonder she was sealed away.
Behind me, I hear Kujikawa
Is
pleading.
there no other choice but to fight?
I won't let you do any more damage, Labrys. It's me you want.
Shut up! Shut up! I ain't like that!
Oh, we're about to fight Labrys. I'm finna fucking kill Labrys! Come get these hands! Come get these hands! Yasogami Steel.
Final. Fight!
Yasogami Steel. Fuck! Yasogami Steel Council President.
I'm coming for you.
You ain't on shit. You ain't on shit, bitch.
Well struck. I'm coming for you. One escape. Better luck next time. You have time to go. Well struck. I'm coming for you.
Get juked, bitch. Get juked. Get juked, nigga. Get juked. Out your fucking socks. Face your true self, Labrys. Labrys remains still. I can hear her muttered denials. She didn't use a persona, but it's possible that her mental instability prevented her from doing so. It might have been a blessing in disguise.
I don't intend to turn a blind eye to the sins committed against you. That is why I must bring you back.
Labrys is the mastermind, not only of this tournament, but maybe of the entire incident. What if Labrys wasn't stolen, but instead escaped? Considering her powers, it is possible she deluded the ordinary human hijackers. There's no knowing when Labrys regained her consciousness inside her cage. What if she hadn't awakened on opening it? What if she was already conscious inside there? She had been sealed for roughly 13 years. More than enough time to formulate a
If that
plan.
was indeed the case, it'd make more sense for this to be a plan devised by Labrys, rather than an unknown party suddenly stealing her away. I can't imagine how much resentment such a small, artificial body could hold. A tragic mastermind, huh?
Huh? Mastermind? You got it wrong, Kirijo-san! That girl's not...
Kujikawa calls out from behind me, but just as she does, I feel an imminent threat rushing towards my back. I turn around in surprise. It can't be.
Looks like you've saved me some time while I was out running errands.
You're...
General Teddy gives me an evil smirk. An extremely powerful version of the noise, far worse than before, is everywhere around us. Kujikawa squats down while covering both her ears. It's all I can do to keep from falling to my own knees.
What's going on? This is Labrys' interference pattern.
Mm-hmm. That's right. As thanks for cornering the real one, I'll show you something.
What is she gonna show us? I'm curious. I really want to see. This fuck-ass commercial! This fucking cutscene again! This bitch thinks she's scary. I can handle you. Ooh, scary. The noise lifts once the mimicry is dispelled. But what it reveals is something I hadn't expected.
Another Labrys?
They don't know about the true self shit. Oh shit! Labrys' story is available now? Hold on. Hold on. That's the end of the episode. I hope y'all enjoyed. Peace out. I love y'all. Tap into the next one. We're getting some different shit now, so it's really interesting, man. I told y'all, that's all I really wanted. Something different, something new.